What's going on, Angelo family? In today's video, we're going to go over why the Tesla Model S long range is the best daily driver. For those of you curious now, I've had the Tesla Model S for about a year now. I've driven about 50,000 miles, and I have had each Tesla basically. I've had the Model 3, S, X, and Y, and by far the Model S is my favorite because of these 5 reasons. So let's get into 5 reasons. The first reason is that it's range. So for those of you guys who are curious, the Tesla Model S long range has a range of about 405 miles of range if you're on those 19-inch wheels. I previously had the 21-inch arachnid wheels, switched over to the 19-inch wheels itself. They are not the stock ones you get from Tesla. They're more so just 19-inch wheels I bought from America's Tires, and they perform so well for me. For me, full state of charge originally was around, say, 405, but now I'm at 380 after about 50,000 miles of driving, and you get that 10% battery degradation. So I still get about 370 or so, 375 miles of range once I do a full 100% charge on this car, which I really enjoy. Especially for me that I drive a lot. So having a car that's able to go extremely far without having to always stop and go from charging, that has been very clutch for me. I really recommend you guys, like, if you have a really big commute, or say you travel a lot in general for your family and friends, or you travel a lot for work, go with a battery that's much bigger. When I got my first ever Tesla, it was a Model 3 Standard Range Plus. Had about 250 miles of range. I thought that was good. And then I realized, oh, Teslas actually don't go that far. They don't really give you your full state of charge, right? So even though it said 250 miles of range, reality was only giving me about 70% of that. And I was actually only getting, if I charged to 100%, 250, and then if I, like, say, were to just drive to 10%, I only get around 180 or so miles of range, right? And that wasn't a lot, especially because I was driving a ton. I had to keep charging, and I didn't have home charging, so it was really annoying at the time. And I just was like, all right, you know what? Teslas now, maybe now they're a little bit better, especially with the Model 3 Highland. Now, like, they actually get your range, and sometimes a little bit more. But back then, 2021, when I first got my Tesla, not the same amount of range. And this car right here, it actually gets the real range, like less than the real range. So that real 370 is probably only around, like, I say like 310, 300 if I charge and drive it all the way down to 0. But it's still a lot, because every time I drive up from Northern California to Southern California, so say from like San Francisco to Los Angeles, I only need to charge the car once. If I leave it 100% from the Bay Area, I'll do a stop kind of like in Faribault or Kelman City, and I'll charge it there, and I'll make it back to Los Angeles with only one charge, which is crazy. But for me, I've kind of noticed is that even though you only need to charge once, you kind of need brakes. So I will charge twice. Like, I need multiple brakes, because it's hard sitting in the car all day from, like, say 12 to 8 p.m. and then not taking a little break. So I charge twice. But if I were not to charge, it'd be like probably 45 to 50 minute rest stop, which is fine, because I'll go eat, relax a bit, take a break, and then get back on the road, then drive for another 3 hours or so. And that's just a testament of how big that battery is on the Tesla Model S long range. For the Plaid, you do get less range, right, which is kind of unfortunate. But if you have a Tesla Model S long range, you do get a lot more range, and then the car goes a lot farther, and you really don't have to worry about your whole kind of like charging experience, right? For this car, I drive so much for work and everything, and it's just been kind of nice that, okay, I don't have to charge every time I get to the location. Like, I can literally just charge like overnight, I'll be good. And that's the one thing though, is that because you do have a larger battery, you have to keep in mind that you will take a lot longer to charge the car because the battery is bigger, right? When I had a Model 3, battery is smaller, of course, it only take like 30 minutes to charge. This, for a full state of charge, if you want to go from 0 to 100, from like a supercharger, take you probably about an hour or so, right? But it's a lot faster charging to 30 or to 80%. So just kind of keep that in mind with the Tesla Model S long range. So the best kind of experience with that. Number 2, why the Tesla Model S long range is the best daily driver. So this car has what is called autopilot as well as full self-driving. Autopilot is basically kind of all you need, in my opinion, to be quite frank with you, is just because autopilot will keep you straight and going straight in a lane, which is cool with autopilot, right? And if you're on the freeway, that's honestly all you really need, because like right now, I'm on the Bay Bridge right now. If you guys can tell kind of my surroundings, all I really need is the car to go straight. And that's good enough, especially if you're going to say to Los Angeles from the Bay Area. Just a straight shot on I-5, not have to worry about it, all the way down, easy, right? When you have autopilot, it's always included in the entire Tesla kind of ecosystem, right? Every Tesla you buy will have autopilot. I'm not too sure about the really old Teslas, like the first ever Model S's, the first ever X's, but definitely all the 3s, the Model S's, the newer ones, the Ys, the X newer ones, they all have autopilot, and it just keeps you in the lane. And that's kind of like all I really need. But Tesla pushed out this new software update called Tesla Full Self-Driving Beta, and it performs really well in the Model S. Granted, I'm on hardware 3.5. I've driven Model 3s and Model X's, as well as Cybertrucks that are on hardware 4. It performs better on that. This is kind of a little jerky, but it's pretty good. It does a really good job. So keep that in mind. When you have a Tesla Model S or a Model 3 or whatever it may be, you will have autopilot. Every Tesla has autopilot, and that is probably the biggest feature from Tesla, is that you have access to autopilot, which makes your commute so much better. Everyone hates on driving EV, but for me, driving EV, yeah, I hate charging the battery. It's not fun, but having autopilot and full self-driving makes everything worth it, because honestly, it's like, it allows you to be hands-free now, where you don't have to hold the wheel. It monitors your eye movement when you're driving the Tesla, so you can just make sure you're staying at the road, and it'll take you to your destination, right? But you need to be attentive, because this autopilot, this full self-driving can and will error out. There are times, like even today, it's errored out where it missed the lane, or it tries turning, and it's very scary, right? So you need to be attentive at all times. I cannot be more serious about this. You need to be attentive at the wheel, right? I love full self-driving. I love autopilot. It's an amazing feature, but you need to pay attention to the road, because this car will error out from time to time, right? And I give you about like a 5% error rate, in my opinion. I'm not too sure, there's no data behind that, but I've definitely had the car error out. However, the software, autopilot, full self-driving, it's amazing. It allows you to really have no driver's fatigue. So when I drive long ways to work, or when I drive from Bay Area to Southern California, I'm not tired from driving because of Tesla full self-driving, where I just sit here, the car will drive for me, and I will basically be refreshed as I'm driving the car, right? The only thing that sucks is that like usually your back kind of hurts, because especially if you're driving long distances, your back will kind of hurt. But when you're on the full self-driving, you just go straight, it's a good time, and you are like not really having to worry about traffic. Like if it's traffic, like I used to hate driving in traffic, because I know it's going to be stop and go. I still hate driving in traffic, but having a Tesla Model S with autopilot full self-driving makes it a lot more bearable, because of the software associated with the car, allowing you to just stay in your lane, switch lanes when you need to, turn, and just do all these basic things that you'd want to do. I imagine it's similar to like driving a Waymo, and I think Waymo's self-driving is a lot better, because they honestly probably perfected full self-driving or self-driving cars. Also, like that their main sort of business. This car, right, it's good, but it can be better. However, I will take a car that does full self-driving over a car that doesn't any day, because especially for long commutes, right, they're not fun at all. So, and software's gotten a lot better. Like I've seen it from the first full self-driving, and then now the new self-driving that we have now, and it's like so much better, right? I've seen it night and day kind of improve, which is really great. So keep that in mind when you have Tesla full self-driving beta. It is a lifesaver and game changer whenever you're driving the car, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. That's the cool thing about the car. Number 3, why this car is a great daily driver is that it is a very safe car. So I believe it got five stars, or a 5.0 rating from the safety commissions here in the United States for a car. And the reason most Teslas are a lot safer, and so what my research I've learned was that because there's no engine in the front of the car, it allows the car to crumple, as opposed to cars that are like a gas-powered car. There is an engine in the front, and when it crumples, it has a higher chance of injuring the passenger or just kind of destroying the car in general. Also, that because there's batteries on the bottom of the car has a lower center of gravity, hence the car won't flip over. There's a lower chance the car to flip over. I think the Model Y performed the best SUV ever with regards to the flipping over. So essentially, as your car is driving, say you're trying to flip over, the car might flip over. The car's low center of gravity from the batteries will prevent the car from flipping over, which is really cool. And another safety feature. Also, with regards to the roof is an extremely strong glass, an extremely strong kind of material here on the side. Tesla says it's like as strong as 2 grown elephants kind of trying to smash the car. Like that's how strong it is, that roof you're kind of on, which is really good, especially if the car were to flip over, which is nice. And then I believe the doors on both sides of the car are very strongly reinforced, so it's a very strong and safe car to kind of be in. 5-star safety rating, right? I'm curious to see how I know the Model S performed really well, and it's a lot bigger base than the Model 3. It's also longer than the Model Y, so that's kind of interesting there. And you can feel it too. This car feels very, very heavy. And it's good to know that the cars are very safe. Yes, you have the software functions that are supposed to help you stay safe, like full self-driving, autopilot. The car will brake if you're about to hit something, especially if you're going at a slower speed. And then also the car is a very has software updates. So anytime there's an error within the system or there's a new safety feature that they want to push, the car will update itself for that, which is really good. And that's the one thing I enjoy about the car. And then number 2 is that the car is a very, very kind of I guess for me it's like it feels heavier, right? I've had cheaper cars, like I've driven a Nissan Sentra and a Corolla. The car, I'm assuming it's safe, but it does feel very light, right? It doesn't feel as reinforced. So if I were to get an accident, I'd be scared. I've gotten in an accident with my Model Y where I got rear-ended. The car behind me was wrecked, but my car was fine. And I'm just thinking like, wow, it's kind of insane how Tesla is a lot stronger and kind of safer car, right? I know we all try and save money when buying a car, and it's great, but it doesn't think about our safety, and I think about it a lot, especially I've been in several accidents where people have hit me on the road, and it's kind of like, oh man. So just kind of keep that in mind, that the car is a relatively safe car, which I enjoy about the car. And then number 4 is the price point right now, right? And the Model S long range, back in the day, I think it's around $90,000. A Plaid was $120,000, which is crazy. Don't buy it for that much ever. Tesla has this thing where their cars, brand new, they're very expensive. As they perfect economies of scale, they lower the price down a lot. So the Model S is around $120,000, the Model X $120,000. The Cybertruck right now, $80,000. Prior to that, it was around $100,000, and I think it's just gonna keep going even lower as they scale out, produce more Cybertrucks, and as they maybe get an EV rebate or more Cybertrucks hit the used market. So just kind of keep that in mind with the Tesla Cybertruck, is that thing's gonna crash. Right now, the Model S long range has crashed in value, where it is only, I've seen some for $45,000 for a 2021 Model S long range refresh, and that's a great value, right? I'd rather have that than like a Model 3 because of how it looks and the scarcity of it. Like, you don't really see a lot of Model S refreshes on the road. Very, very rarely. You'll see a lot of Model 3s, Model Ys, Model X, Model S, just the older ones. I see more Model X refreshes than Model S refresh. because it's a family car, but you will barely see a Model S refresh on the road because of one, how brand new it was, how expensive it was brand new, and then two, it's like most families will buy Model Y because they can fit their kids and their families. Most people driving Model S, I've noticed, is a much older demographic, especially the refresh ones. You'll see a lot of Model S, like not refresh ones on the road, but Model S refresh, not many at all, which is kind of crazy, considering how great of a car this is. And for the price of $45,000, $40,000, which is the same price as a new Model 3, I think it's a great deal. It'd be, what, 3 years older than your Model 3? But you'll have a lot of range. You have the extremely big screen in the front, as well as a big screen on the left side of the car, which is like you have two screens, which is the cool thing about the Model S and the Model X, that they have two screens. So you don't really kind of see that often, which is really cool. So the price right now is kind of like a great price right now for you guys, especially if you're looking for a brand new vehicle for the Teslas, for the Model S, right? Or for a used one. Always go used, guys. Teslas will drop in value a lot, so I recommend get a used Tesla, because whatever you paid for, just imagine that car's gonna go down 30%. Tesla's gonna lower the price even more, and then you're kind of out of luck. So always go for the used Teslas, in my personal opinion. Okay, guys, used, don't hate, but I honestly enjoy the used Teslas a lot more. So that's one thing you need to realize about the Teslas, and the value of it. It's going to drop a lot. So if you get a used one, you kind of allow that person who buys it initially to take brunt of the depreciation, and you still get a great car. Honestly, like, it's fine. So keep that in mind right now. Great price right now for the Tesla Model S long ranges, as well as the Model S Plaids. Okay, guys, that's one thing y'all need to realize. Great car, great price right now for the car, right? And then so we went over right now, great range, self-driving software, which is amazing. The price right now is really good, and then safety is really good as well. And then I think for me, last but not least, it's just the over-the-air updates. Number 5 is that Tesla always pushes over-the-air updates to all of their cars. What does that mean? So every time there is a software update, so Tesla has a new feature coming out, there's like a holiday feature coming out, they want to kind of add new things to the car, say there's an error with a previous bug in the software, Tesla always pushes new software updates to their car. So keep in mind, when you have a new Tesla Model S, or any Tesla in general, you will get the latest and greatest feature software updates, and you just get that within your car. You connect to the Wi-Fi. Sometimes for the newer chargers within Tesla, like the version 3, version 4 chargers, there is Wi-Fi there, and it will download the software update for you, which is really cool. Or if you're at a Tesla dealership, same thing. You'll download the Tesla software update for you, and then you don't have to worry about kind of like the car itself, what's it called, not updating or kind of not having the latest features. So the car will always update for you. Right now, it's almost around Christmas time, and we're gonna get a Christmas holiday update where it changes the entire UI, user interface of the car, and we get a whole bunch of new features for the car. Like right now, I got Smart Summon, where I can call the car to come to me, and then also full self-driving beta. I have the software where I do the monthly subscription. Tesla will also push free full self-driving beta software updates to you every now and then, which is pretty cool. Like, you get free full self-driving. And so Tesla will push these updates to you every now and then. And then you get a full self-driving beta update. You get new features on the car, like you get new games on the car. Also, you can get like a new kind of they update the maps. It looks really great. That's the one thing about Tesla, is that you do get full self-driving beta updates. You do get software updates. You get a lot of these amazing updates as you're kind of just having the car. And these updates are all pushed over the air, so you don't need to go to the dealership. You just basically go download the software within your car. The car updates for you, and you get the latest and greatest kind of software associated with the car, which I think is super cool, guys. So that's the one cool thing about Tesla in the full self-driving software, is that you're always going to get new updates within the car. And that's the cool thing, is that you never really have to worry about, hey, my car is kind of older now. I got the older version, like 2018 version. what am I gonna do now? Well, no, luckily for you guys is that you get the latest and greatest version of the car every time the car updates its software. So that's the one thing I really enjoy about this car, is that I can have the older version of the 2022 version of the car, and then say like fast forward 3-4 years, new update comes about, and then Tesla pushes it for you, and then you get a brand new update for the car, and your car feels brand new because you have all the latest software that the new Model S's have, right? It's not, I mean, you may not have all the latest hardware, but Tesla barely changes the hardware. It's like every 4 or 5 years the look of the car will change, but it's very rare. They always update the car, which is one of the cooler things about the car. So keep that in mind. Well, Angelo family, that was my top 5 things I love about the Tesla Model S and why I think it's the best daily driver you can get. Right now, Tesla does have a referral right now, so click down my link down below if you want $1,000 off your Tesla. I think it's $1,000 off a Model S, X, and Cybertruck, and then $500 off a Model 3 or Y. I get a referral of about $500 I can just use for supercharging. You get $1,000 or $500 off your car, so just take a look at that below. Always go through referral code if you're gonna go buy the car brand new, and keep in mind you can stack those. So right, if you have a Model X, X, Y, whatever it may be. So say you have, you use my referral code, you get $500 off your Model 3 plus the $7,500 EV rebate. So you're looking pretty good. Like you get a lot of like discounts associated with the car. That's the one thing that's super cool about it. And you can stack it up. Also, say your state has an EV rebate, and if your state has an EV rebate, you can basically stack that on top of your rebates and discounts as well. So you get a really big discount if you buy brand new. And on your state, California, we only have a $7,500 federal tax rebate, as well as you get $1,000 off your car if you use someone's referral code, like my link down below. Also, I do have a lot of kind of referrals with regards to the stuff I use for this channel, as well as for my Tesla. That is through Amazon affiliates, so take a look at it below. I do get a commission from that as well, but appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And it's just kind of like my favorite car to drive, and I hope this helps you guys. Take a look at my links below, and then I'll see you guys in a bit.